It's not an April's Fools. We have patch notes already 10.06 with changes to KAYO, it's pretty good. We have changes to VYSE, which are very good. And we have changes to Yoru, which are okay. So let's go and dive in. So let's start with KAYO. The agent update is like this. While we love that KAYO has an engaging path to mastery, we consistently see that there's a large gap between his skill ceiling and his skill floor, and that the gap hasn't really improved over time. Which was, by the way, very interesting because, for example, Yoru is in a similar spot, but that changed over time. We have a bit of Yoru players who are now very efficient with it, and yet that doesn't really happen that much with KAYO. We see from both player feedback and internal statistics that his flash is the most difficult flash to coordinate with on the roster. Because the KAYO flash is either used as an underhand pop flash or a incredibly long range flash. There's no in between, right? And those patch notes actually changed this, which is very interesting. We think we can make KAYO's overhand flash more flexible for mid-range scenarios to better match our other flashes, which is what's happening. These sets of changes should continue to preserve his high skill ceiling on those perfectly tossed pop flashes as you have been practicing. We're also reducing his resurrection duration on his ultimate to reinforce the potential for team play to pick up an ally KAYO, which would be great if the idiots in ranked would actually read the patch notes. So... Flash drive. This is the flash. What changed? Upon bouncing, flashes will now start a 800 milliseconds wind up and then pop. So there's a video of this. Let me show it to you. This is the video. Normally, this flash would look like this. So as you can see, there's actually a strong difference in when does the pop flash. It's like huge difference for the way that you want to peak angles because of that. So what does it change in game is, for example, right now, I'm going to be able to, for example, flash on this wall over here and have this flash actually explode way faster. I'm going to be able as well, just like in the video, flash for myself with a longer duration like this. And already that flash would have popped like 2 seconds before. And not only that, there are more changes because I'll be able to equip my gun faster, which is another huge difference. So let's read what else happened. This windup has unique audio and visuals when triggered. The bounce windup will not be triggered if it's already less than 800 milliseconds from popping, so it won't increase the total max time from throw to pop, which is also important because if you're throwing a grenade the flash grenade long range and it bounces at the end of the duration of it, it doesn't reset the timer. So it would still have the same maximum timer, so it doesn't affect your already pre-existing lineups for long range flashes. Underhand maximum flash duration is increased by 250 milliseconds, which is a big change. So the pop flash from up close will have 250 milliseconds more duration, which is more than an average reaction time, because players typically will have around like 180 milliseconds reaction time. So this adds you that another reaction time window essentially to the duration of the flash, which is a big buff. But the biggest buff here is the unequip time got reduced by 250 as well. So now not only you have a longer duration on the pop flash, but also you are equipping your gun faster by 250 milliseconds, which essentially potentially could change your scenario of your flash by half a second, which is huge. So this unequip time here is really very important. It will change the timings and will allow you to be more aggressive with KAYO for himself. And you can now do the flashes both underhand and medium range left click. So you're gonna be able to be very aggressive with this agent right now. There's also a change with the voiceover, which says flashing now from 20 meters, not 50 meters, sorry, from 20 meters to 50 meters, and a minimap indicator has been added to the flash for teammates only. But again, this would be a great change if the idiots in your ranked games would actually look at the minimap and read patch notes. Now, another buff is actually pretty big. The ultimate resurrection time got reduced from 3 seconds to 1.5 seconds. This is really big. You can actually get resurrected incredibly fast now. And this is the same duration as Gecko is picking up his own stuff. So you can think like, oh, this is actually incredibly fast. So my overall impression from the KO changes is that he is gonna be still very hard to play correctly and very hard to actually get wins in ranked because of the coordination needed. But those changes allow you to be a little bit more aggressive yourself, so you're gonna be less dependent on your teammates and more self-dependent. So you can be playing this character more like a duelist even than before, which is a welcome change in my mind. Now Yoru. If you watched my Yoru guide that I released a few days ago, you would know that Fake Out, the clone, is in my opinion the most important piece of utility for Yoru. Now I do think it does a lot, because in the metagame with Deadlocks, Vices and Killjoys and Cyphers as well, his clone is incredibly valuable. Only for 100 credits you get a lot of mileage out of the clone. You can always get some value out of it. And even more importantly, it was destroying potential util for 400 credits like the VYSE wall. So strong difference in cost here, right? In the economy cost. So improving its, or rather decreasing the economy aspect of Yoru here is important because he's already pretty good. But in pistol rounds, he was able to buy like a clone, flash, gun, or a armor. Right? In this case, you're not going to be able to do that anymore. So you either have to sacrifice one of the pieces of your util or just not play with a gun. So you can have to play with either the clone or the flash, but not both at the same time if you want to also have a gun alongside it, right? And you cannot buy a flash and a clone with the armor anymore. So I think this is a fine change. It does make it a little bit more expensive for the entirety of the game. Overall, I buy a clone every single round. So for me, this is actually a big change. So essentially in a 24 round game, this might be around like 2,000 credits, maybe 2,000, even 4 credits, because I try using it every round. So that's a big difference. That's like one gun overall in the entire game. Let's hope that there will be no more nerfs to Yoru, because he's incredibly tough to play, but it's very rewarding to play because of the skill floor and the skill ceiling. So I personally hope, because I'm a Yoru main, that no more nerfs are gonna be coming. But this one is fine. I'm fine with this nerf overall. And now let's talk about VYSE. This is legit what I said in my video that I released like 2 weeks ago about how I would nerf and buff agents myself. I think I even said the same exact numbers. So this is fine. The razor wine duration got decreased from 10 seconds to 7 seconds. I said that I would increase damage overall of them as well, but I guess they didn't do it because it was already pretty high, 10. But this was needed. The duration of the phones was insane. Like 10 seconds. It's incredible. Like it's absolutely massive. So having it reduced to 7, I think it's fine. It's still very long duration, longer than Killjoy Nanoswarms because they are like 5.5. A little bit shorter than Brimstone Molly, which is 8 seconds. But this is, remember, this is a Sentinel that is covering like almost the entire site with one razor vine. So I think this change was very much needed, and the second change also very needed. The change on the wall from 8 seconds to 6 seconds, when you combine those, the 8-second wall and the 10 seconds VYSE phones that you could activate after the wall is broken, or like you can activate wall, get a kill on the one player because you flashed them, and then the wall goes down, and then you pop the molly, pop the phones, so you have 18 seconds. 18 seconds, a lane is just stopped from being attacked almost completely unless someone has like mobility that goes over it. But in most cases, that's not possible. So it was incredible how long VYSE was able to hold a lane with just 2 pieces of util. So I think those changes are welcomed by the community, and I think they were badly needed. And it will not change how threatening VYSE is. I think VYSE is a great design, and the numbers need to be tweaked, but she was overpowered in my eyes. Now she's pretty good. She's very good, even, I would say. She's very playable, still better than, like, on Ascent, I would not play anything else than VYSE. I think she's just so strong. And overall, I think this just levels her a little bit more to the overall power level of the utility of other utility pieces in the game. So I think those are all good changes. I think I agree with Ryan, who I made the interview on my channel before, who's working at Life Balance. I like all of those changes. This is very welcomed. Creative changes to the flash drive as well from KAYO, making him a little bit similar to Yoru Flash, but I digress. And overall, great changes. Good job, Riot. We're looking still forward to the changes to Teho, though.